On this edition of Newswatch, hear about Iowa State's journey to a more Zen campus.
And hear about how the flu is affecting students this year.
Don't go anywhere. You're watching Newswatch.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch. I'm Cassy Olesen.
And I'm Natasha Novak. And thanks for joining us.
Tomorrow from 10 to 2, the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences will be hosting Career Day at the Great Hall in the Memorial Union. ISU students, alumni, and industry recruiters are invited to attend. It is not limited to students only within the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, as the organizations in attendance will be looking to recruit majors from a variety of fields. This is a great opportunity to connect for internships and professional employment. There are currently over 100 companies scheduled to be in attendance at the event, a list of which can be found in SciHire.
ISU is hosting a Yogathon event this Saturday, which will conclude the 2-week Yoga Awareness Sun Salutation campaign that has been available for yoga goers any age and any skill level. There have been daily 1-hour yoga sessions every day since Saturday the 21st. The campaign is being put on by a joint effort from the ISU Recreation Services, the Yoga Club, and the Hindu Yuva. Hindu Yuva is a club for students who are enthusiastic about exploring Hindu Dharma and their culture. Their goal is to provide Hindus living in the USA for an opportunity to share culture and values and develop a unity and harmony in the community in their community. Saturday's Yoga for Health and Health for Humanity Yogathon event will be held at the State Gym East Basketball Court from 11:15 to 12:45.
It's that time of year again when it seems almost impossible to avoid the flu. Last week, Wednesday, Ames High School reported that 125 kids were out sick with the flu, and it's not only Ames that's being taken over by the flu. Other schools across the country have released statements to please stay home from class if you are sick to prevent the spread of the illness. Some schools have even gone to the extent to deep clean the whole school to stop the flu. So please make sure that you are taking care of yourself these next few weeks as we endure flu season.
Ta-Nehisi Coates spoke at the Memorial Union Monday night to a packed house. Coates' speech discussed the issues of a race in America to a crowd of Iowa State students and people from the Ames and the surrounding areas. Coates discussed the recent presidential election as well as many other key issues on racism in America today. Coates is a national best-selling author for Between the World and Me, and Coates is also known for writing My President Was Black. Coates is available for autographs after the speech.
Iowa State University scientists have designed an electricity generator that mimics trees. The device imitates the branches and leaves of a cottonwood tree and generates electricity when its artificial leaves sway in the wind. Michael McCloskey, an associate professor of genetics, development, and cell biology, led the design of the device. He said the concept would not replace wind turbines, but could become its own niche market for small machines that would turn wind into electricity. He also said cell phone towers in some urban locations, such as Las Vegas, have been camouflaged as trees, complete with leaves. Such technology could become a market for those who want the ability to generate wind energy without the need for tall and obstructive towers or turbines.
It may seem obvious, but an Iowa State study suggests that joining a gym will improve your health and motivate you to exercise more. The study found people who belonged to a health club not only exercised more, but they also had a better cardiovascular health. Gym members were 14 times more active than non-members and 10 times more likely to meet muscle strengthening guidelines, regardless of their age. Gym members overall had an active lifestyle, meaning they were just as active outside the gym and in their daily lives. It is important to note that most of the data from the study were collected while people were at the gym, which excludes people who might have a membership but are not using it.
Every year, the Student Activity Center puts on a free leadership conference, open to all students, and the lineup usually includes a pretty notable keynote speaker. Reporter Mary Kahn has the story.
Dozens of students sacrificed their Saturday and turned out for the annual Iowa State Leadership Experience. Students at the conference attended breakaway sessions.
We had 7 different sessions that were happening at the same time for the first block period, and then we had 5 different sessions for the second. So this was a variety of presentations that students could choose from to cater to whatever their need was as far as their leadership development.
Students learned important skills in the breakaway sessions, but the star of the show was the keynote speaker, one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter. Many students said she was the reason they came.
Well, I've been wanting to get more involved with like Black Lives Matter and stuff anyway, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to meet Opal Tometi, one of the co-founders, and learn about like leadership in the process.
The attendees lined up after her speech for the opportunity to meet her. We snapped some pictures at the meet and greet because we were not allowed to film during the keynote, as dictated by the terms of Tometi's contract. With ISU TV, I'm Mary Kahn.
Coming up after the break, a man was found dead in his Des Moines apartment.
Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch. 21-year-old Michael Huckleberry of Des Moines, a homicide victim who was first discovered in his apartment on Sunday, according to a news release from the Des Moines Police Department. A concerned citizen noticed that a window in his apartment had been open since Thursday and went to check on him. The citizen found him deceased in the apartment, which was then processed for evidence. Des Moines Police spokesperson Sergeant Paul Perzik did not release any information on how the victim died, other than addressing that the death was not due to natural causes. Perzik also said that autopsy results scheduled for today will not likely be released until they have identified the suspect. Other details about the case were not available at the time, but police are confident that it was not random. According to the Des Moines Register Archives, Huckleberry attended Grandview University as recently as May of 2016. He was placed on the Dean's List and President's List and at Grandview, and was on the President's List at Des Moines Area Community College in July of 2013. He and another man were also involved in a house fire in West Des Moines when they were hospitalized in critical condition in June of 2012. This homicide is the 4th in Des Moines this year.
Earlier this week, Donald Trump signed an executive order placing a temporary ban on seven Muslim-majority countries. This ban prevents travelers from select countries to enter the United States. This order caused many travelers to be detained at airports all over the U.S., and several were placed on a return flight to the country they had just traveled from. This order sparked multiple protests to break out all over the country at airports. Governor Branstad spoke out this at his weekly news conference, claiming this ban should not surprise anybody, and also stated that he supports President Trump's order.
Iowa State students received an email from President Leaf yesterday in regards to President Trump's executive order on immigration. In the email, he expressed his understanding of student concerns and informed ISU students that the university is doing what it can to understand what the effects of the order will be. The International Students and Scholars Office will continue to provide information for international students who are advised by President Leaf to consult Immigration Counsel and carefully evaluate these issues prior to traveling internationally at this time. There are currently 115 students attending ISU who are from the 7 countries that President Trump's executive order has called for a ban on.
When we come back, Taylor Miko will have our cyclone weather report.
Don't go anywhere. You're watching Newswatch.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Taylor Mankel with your weather. Current temperatures here in Ames, Iowa, 35 degrees, cloudy tonight, and they're moving pretty fast with that wind coming in at 12 miles per hour from the west. Dew point tonight, 31 degrees, which we will probably just get to. Stacking up today, as we see today in the record books, you know, the normal around where we are right now, 40 of 1 was the high today, normal around 30. We're about 35 right now, as I mentioned, which will be around our low, and then we had some crazy records. Who knows when those happen, though. Regardless, we're looking across the state. As I mentioned, 35 around the metro areas. That goes down into 37 over in Des Moines. On the west side of the state, Sioux City, very similar, 36 degrees, and not too much difference over on the east side, 34 over in Davenport. Now we go across the nation and see how we stack up. Go up north, really, not too much colder. 34 degrees up in Minnesota. We go south, Dallas, over just about 70 degrees. And then my city, Billings, Montana, 18 degrees, the beautiful Billings, Montana. I recommend a visit for sure. We go into the Pacific Northwest with a beautiful 39 degrees, crisp. Make sure to get some good coffee and whatever you want over there in Seattle. Then we go to the East Coast. We've got another 34 degrees, just like we are having here in central Iowa over on the East Coast. Now we're going to go to tonight's lows. Overnight lows, we dip down into the 20s, 25 degrees here in Ames, Iowa, 26 in the capital city, Des Moines. You got 27 over there in Council Bluffs, and then basically the same on the other side of the state with 26 here in Davenport. Now we go over into tomorrow. It's going to be very similar to today. A little colder here in Ames, 30 degrees. We get colder as we go more north. Mason City, a high of 24 degrees. It's going to get a little colder before we get this warm front that will be coming up here pretty soon in the state. As we look at your extended forecast, 30s going into low 30s, working into the weekend, just a little tiny bit of precipitation chance throughout basically the entire weekend. Don't expect that to be too much of anything. Make sure to tune into our Thursday broadcast to get a more updated on that. And into the weekend, we do see that little bit of heat that I was mentioning as we get up into the high 30s and even breaking into the 40s come early next week. 47 on Monday and should stay a little bit more towards the mid to high 30s past that. That's all I have time for here with your Cyclone Weather Report. Stay tuned as Laurel Feeks will have your sports next.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Laurel Feeks, and this is your Newswatch Sports Report. Big news out of the Iowa State Wrestling front office tonight. Head coach Kevin Jackson will be stepping down at the end of this year. Jackson was told by Director of Athletics Jamie Pollard that he would assume an administrative role in the athletic department. Jackson said that Iowa State has a great wrestling tradition and everyone involved with the program has very high expectations. We have not consistently met those expectations recently, which has been disappointing to me, my staff, our current and former wrestlers, the wrestling donors, and our fans. Jackson is an Olympic gold medalist, world champion, and NCAA runner-up. He coached the Cyclones to 9 Big 12 championships with 14 All-Americans and 4 NCAA champions. The Cyclones fell short in the Big 12 SEC Challenge on Saturday in Nashville against Vanderbilt, 84-78. ISU seemed to have the game under control as they had an 11-point lead in the first half. Iowa State's new all-time assist leader, Monte Morris, had 25 points in the game and went in 10 of 17 shooting. Other notable players on the night were Deontay Burton with 13 points, Matt Thomas with 14, and Donovan Jackson coming off the bench and scoring a career high of 16 points for the Clones. Tonight, Iowa State takes on West Virginia at Hilton. The current score is 21-12 with 11:30 in the first half. Football players around the country are eagerly awaiting a big event that will determine the next step in their collegiate careers. Iowa State will be seeing some new faces as National Signing Day takes place with Matt Campbell and the Cyclones welcoming in some exciting new prospects. 20 football players will join Iowa State to bolster the team, which finished a disappointing 3-9 last season. The team won't start competitive play until September, but things are already looking up. Gather up your friends, prepare the finger food, and get your game face on because Super Bowl 51 is this Sunday. The Atlanta Falcons, who will be making only their second ever appearance at the grand stage, will take on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, who are looking to secure their 5th Super Bowl title in team history. The Falcons, led by Matt Ryan, crushed the Green Bay Packers 44-21 to secure their Super Bowl spot, while the Patriots overcame tough competitors in the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 36-17. Kickoff is at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, and you can catch it all on Fox Sports. This has been your Newswatch Sports Report. Coming up next, Caterpillar makes a move north, and there is a new policy in the Boy Scouts of America. You're watching Newswatch.
Caterpillar announced earlier today that it will be moving its headquarters from Chicago to Peoria later in the year. This move comes as a huge surprise as Caterpillar was planning on building a new corporate building in Peoria. CAT spokeswoman Rachel Potts said only a small team of about 300 senior executives will be relocating to Chicago. Potts also stated that most current employees based in Peoria will stay put, including several vice presidential roles within the company and about 11,700 employees.
Century-old traditions will be broken with Boy Scouts as they will now allow transgender boys to partake in the program. A stance that has been set in stone for more than a century will begin to allow members to join based on their gender form applications. In the past, the information has differed to birth certificate identity. However, with state laws changing, it is no longer sufficient, and this is something gay and transgender advocates have been pushing for a while now. One of the chief instigators being President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Tillerson was the BSA president from 2010 to 2011 and voted to open gays into scouting in 2013 while he was on the board.
That is all we have for your Tuesday edition of Newswatch.
Stay tuned on Thursday for more news, weather, and sports.
Have a great night, Ames.